It's Nomsa here at Ngozi Talk Shows, Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. So with me today, I have Grant Morel and Amanda Murray and Nick Motichka. How are you guys? Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, Nomsa. Yeah.
Okay, no one is responding. I said, how are you?
It was a visual response. Everything's great, Nomsa, here, and looking about a smile.
Awesome.
How are you, Nomsa? How are you, Nomsa? You good?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. You guys are here, so I'm happy. We've got our audience all happy.
Cool.
So our topic today is mastering the art of habit, building good ones and breaking the bad ones. So how do you build good habits and break bad ones? In this video, we're going to dwell into the art of mastering the habit to help you achieve lasting changes in your life, whether you are looking to develop new habit or beneficial habit for detrimental ones. This comprehensive guide has got you covered. Over to you, Amanda. I know you chose this topic. What was in your mind regarding creating habits and breaking the bad ones?
Well, it's because I've been reading this book called Miracle Morning, and essentially the part that I was reading yesterday specifically talked about habits, and I want to just read a little piece of it because it's really, really powerful. So it says, it's been said that our quality of life is created by the quality of our habits. If a person is living a successful life, then the person simply has the habits in place that are creating and sustaining their levels of success. And so there's another piece here. It says, habits are behaviors that are repeated regularly and tend to occur subconsciously. Whether you realize it or not, your life has been and will continue to be created by your habits. If you don't control your habits will control you. And I just thought that was super, super powerful, and a really good entryway into talking about habits, because when you think about it, you are really, truly a product of your habits and what you choose to do every day and how you show up every day. And in so much of our habits are subconscious. And so I just thought that those two quotes really, really were a good entry point into the art of building positive habits. What do you think, Grant?
Brilliant. I think you've nailed it with that. And absolutely, Amanda. Habits, we all have them, don't we? We all have habits, good habits or bad habits, but either way, we've got them. And sometimes we don't always realize the habits we have. We're the last people to see them, right? You know, other people say, here we go again. Yeah, that same habit from that same person. And it's very good. I think it's a great subject because we really need to tune in on our habits. Everybody has them every day. Habits become rituals, they become our behaviors, and from our behaviors come our results. And it's very important that we take a deep dive and look at them. So yeah, great subject, habits, we all have them. But the question is, are you aware of them? If not, we can take a look at that. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, agreed that this is so important, and how you just highlighted how a lot of people out there don't even realize that they have them, whether they're bad or good. And I would say if they're an unconscious habit, they're probably generally on the more negative side for the most part, I would say. And yeah, it's hard to change. It's hard to have new habits. It's hard to break old habits. It's a real thing for us to do that either way. And so this is a great topic to dive into, maybe some tools, how to do that, how to reinforce those positive ones and to shed some of those negative ones. So I'm excited to hear what everyone has to say and to dive in. How about you, Nomsa?
I'm excited too. I agree with Grant that lots of people have bad habits and they don't realize that they have them, because bad habit can actually stop you moving forward when it comes to life. So I'm also excited, like Nick is saying, just to hear everyone's point of view and see where the topic is taking us. Amanda?
Well, I think this specific book has really woken me up to my habit of hitting the snooze button. And so that's something that I'm really trying to break right now. And even though it's summer and I'm a teacher and I'm on summer vacation, I'm trying to get up and do like the things that it talks about in the book every morning before 8 a.m. because it says get up an hour earlier than you would normally have set your alarm for every single day, and do these 6 saviors, which is, I've done all of them constantly throughout my life, but not in the pattern that this is saying to do it, which is essentially every day. And so I would always like do some of them for a while and then go off. And so it's interesting because I'm like, oh, I have all of these habits. I'm just not consistent with them. And so that's the piece that's really opening my eyes to the struggle with my own habits, is consistency and being able to show up every day and do them. And so the 6 daily habits they're called the saviors in his book. And so it's silence, which is meditation. And then A is affirmations. V is visualization. E is exercise. R is reading, and then the other S is scribing or journaling. And so those are the 6 ones that he talks about in his book. And it's really made me be thinking, because I'm a teacher as well, like, if all of these adults are trying to break these habits, how can we then make sure that kids don't have these habits to begin with? And how could we empower them with these habits of the most successful people in the world? Because that's essentially what he talks about in his book, is how he hit like this rock bottom in his life. And then he decided to research what the most successful people in the world did. And he really couldn't decide which of all of the ones he found were the most important. So he decided to do all 6. And he just has like the most amazing life story. So I've been really like motivated by this book particularly. And even though I've read like hundreds and hundreds of books and I'm reading all the time, so the reading one was not a problem for me. I read every day, regardless. I don't read every day before 8 a.m., but I'm trying to now. And it's just like really, really interesting because I've always had a yoga mat like out in my bonus room. And there would be months where I would only ever move the yoga mat, even though I go to yoga and I go to the yoga studio, but the yoga mat in my house wouldn't necessarily get touched other than when I'm vacuuming the floor. I'd like roll it out, vacuum the floor, roll it back up, and like keep going. And so now, since I started this, I think I'm on like 33 days. I've used my yoga mat every single day, regardless, even if it's for 5 minutes, even if it's for just the meditation for 5 minutes before I get ready and organized in the morning. So it's the one piece that he talks about in it is that we have all these good intentions, yet we often stop because things get hard or our self-talk puts us back into those habits. And essentially, he believes that if you can do something for 30 days, then you've broken your habit. I don't know that I've necessarily broken my habit of hitting the snooze button, but I've definitely been able to do at least 4 of the saviors every day before 8 a.m. since I started.
Hello, Quantinik.
Yeah, sorry, just I'm using it. So the first one is silence, right? It's silence. And I think that is really, really important, silence, because when you wake up in the morning, and this is something which we used to be on a retreat, and we start this on a retreat, was that the first thing is absolute silence. We would turn up at 7 o'clock in the morning. We would go into a room, like a large room, imagine like an exercise room, like a gym. We would go there, and first one would be that we would go in there and there'd be 15, 20 of them, say anything. Just give each other space and do that. Most important thing, the retreat's great, but is how do you take that back into your home, to your daily life? And the first part really was that we would be quiet. Now, when you go back to your home life, this is, I think I mentioned this here before, when you wake up in the morning, there's 1,000 things you could be doing. Kids, telephones, text messages, yada, yada. Don't. Some of the most successful people I know, and it sounds a stretch, I get it, they spend quite a long time on their setup, their daily process before they get into the grind. And although it is an investment of time, and I know what you're saying, oh, hang on, but I'm already busy. And I'm going to go back to I think, Amanda, I'm pretty sure you said this before, is that there's yoga and stuff, and people say, oh, just exercise for 5 minutes a day. And people say, I haven't got 5 minutes. And you say, then you need to do an hour. You know, it's that kind of thing. So just take a few minutes, even if you start small, a few minutes just to do nothing. And I used to say silence, and also think of nothing in yoga. How do you think of nothing? It's difficult. I get it. I know. I've been there. But how do you do it for 5 minutes? Impossible, right? Start with 30 seconds. And that's a challenge. Start and just sit there and just try to think of nothing. And your job, or your mission, should you choose to accept it, is as thoughts come in, just push them away. And it's a habit. It is an exercise. The more you do it, the better you get. I trust you. You know, trust me, you do. So just sit there. And a great way to be in silence, I think, is a little bit of cheat, is to breathe. Breathe in a certain style. Maybe box breathing. Breathing for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds. It's what works for me. Focusing on the breathing. I know what you're going to say, but that means you're thinking of breathing. Yeah, I guess so. But it means you're not thinking of other stuff. And that's, you know, you're on the right track at least. So why don't you just do that for a short while, and that gives you silence. Silence means you're not letting other stuff come into your mind. Why is that important? Because it starts to give you some degree of control over your life. When people feel stressed, it's when they don't have control, they don't have freedom, they don't have choice. Their liberty is taken away from them. Nick, police officer, right? Ex-police officer. When someone's bad, you take away their liberty, right? You take away their freedom. No one likes that. Yeah, well, that's what happens if you're bad, if you're wrong, right? It gets taken away. So we assimilate it with these things. However, and I wrote an email to someone just before the show saying, however, you have a choice. You know, there is a choice. You have options. And this is the thing. If you have silence, you're choosing to do that. You're choosing to say to other things, I know there's other urgent things. I know there's other important things, but I can afford myself 5 minutes. If you could afford an hour, great. But start off, because once you start with 5 minutes, you will soon be able to get to 7. 7, you'll get to 10. 10, 15 is a cinch, and you're really cooking with a gas tank, right? So just start with silence. The ironic thing is that I'm talking about silence, which is a bit of an oxymoron in itself. But yeah, have silence, and it starts to give you control, and it starts to give your brain what? Evidence. Evidence that you can do it. So in a chaotic world where there's bosses, employers, bills, government, I don't know, people annoying you, clients, kids, everything demanding your time, you can prove to yourself you can start to take control of how you use your most valuable resource in the world, time. And start it with taking a little bit of silence. Remember, start small, you can always increase. And monitor it, because whatever you monitor, you can manage. Whatever you can manage, you can grow. And the choice is yours. You just need to make the first step. Nick, you've been very, very silent through that. What do you think about silence? How important is that?
Very, yeah. I went to a retreat as well, and that was we called it sacred silence in the morning, and it was no speaking until after the morning movement and meditation. And it was wonderful. I have 3 little humans in my house, and so sacred silence is even more sacred. And I'm finding, for me, a habit that I'm currently working on, a positive one, is getting up well before the rest of the family does to do those things that are going to take my attention away from the family. So just so everyone knows kind of my situation. So I have resigned from my former life as a police officer, as Grant mentioned, and going all in on my business, which is consciously made, so locally made natural fiber apparel. And so I am also at home with my 3 little boys right now because it's summer and they're out of school. And so I'm entrepreneur and stay-at-home dad. And so those things definitely don't always coincide so easily. So my new habit is getting up before everyone so I can get a solid chunk of time where I can concentrate on what I need to do without taking me away from the family. Because when I when I am distracted during the day trying to get things done, it always turns out to be a bad day because the kids need my attention and they're at an age where they definitely need me to guide them in different activities and whatnot, or else it just ends up being their chosen activity, which seems to be fighting right now. So that's super fun. So yeah, this is a habit that I'm currently working on, and it's not easy. Like I mentioned in the intro, change for us is not, just doesn't happen, right? It takes a conscious and sustained effort in order to get over that hump. And yeah, Amanda mentioned 30 days, and I tend to agree with you, Amanda, that it's even longer than that. I've done 30-day challenges, mindset stuff and whatnot, and it's like by the end of 30 days you're feeling really good, don't get me wrong, like you're in that flow of it. But once that 30-day challenge is over, I've had lots of those things drop off after that 30 days, so it's not truly a habit. And I always think about the root of where things come from and like why is change so hard for us. And I think it's because evolutionary change meant danger, right? Back before all the modern conveniences of our current life, that potential change in your life could mean your survival or not. And so that's why it's so ingrained in us to stay comfortable and just stay in the known and stay where we know generally what's going to happen in any situation. But that doesn't serve us in today's world, and it certainly doesn't serve us in the growth world. Staying the same, of course, is not going to change anything in your life. And I always think about a saying, and it's there's no growth in the comfort zone. And so you got to push yourself outside your comfort zone, and to break any habit, yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, certainly at first, but it's worth it at the same time. And so those are kind of my thoughts right now. Nomsa, how about you?
Creating good habits. I actually agree with Amanda that it takes more than 30 days. But for me, when I create a habit, there's some habit that I've created a long time ago. I stay with them. At the beginning, it's not easy. It's really hard. But once you find that routine of I get up in the morning, I do my thing. In the morning, first thing I do anything, I just do my prayer life. I do my quiet life. When I pray, I just go quiet and just listen to God, what God is saying. And by the time I get out of the house, I've done everything that I need to do. And when it comes to exercising, like what Amanda was saying, yeah, some people find it really hard to actually, they create habits, but to carry on with them, it's more like people that create a New Year resolution that after the New Year, I'm going to do this. They intend to actually stop doing them. So what you can do, instead of creating a New Year resolution, you can think your habit. Why do you want to create those habits? And just create them and just look at the results, or how is it going to look like, or how is it going to make you feel once you've created them. It's like me doing exercises. since I've left, football is a habit that I have to do. Before I used to get up in the morning and go running like 4 a.m. But now I go in the evening. I just go with the routine, like with the children, who is going to look after the children. If I have to go sometimes I go running 11 p.m. If I have to, I just have to keep my exercises, because otherwise I can't think properly. If I don't go, it's the time where I'm on my own and I just have to do my thinking. I can't go for a walk anyways. I do go for walks, but with the kids. But when I'm on my own, I just want to run. So when you create those habits, you have to actually maybe have accountability. Before I had Dr. Bigot, when I was starting some of my habits, she helped me, like reminding me to do things. And then once I go I think after 2 months or 3 months, then I started doing them on my own. So if you're struggling on your own, find accountability partner just to help you to actually move forward. It's a reminder to say, oh, have you done that? Have you done that? You said you're going to do this. So what I used to do with Dr. Bigot, I used to write everything that I'm going to do in that week, exercises and this, and then I'll send it to her. And then she'll come back to me and just checking if there's anything that I'm struggling with. Based on the habit that I've created, I'll be like, I'm good. Or if there's anything that I'm struggling with, and then I'll let her know I'm struggling. And then when this struggle started, and then she'll just give me some words of encouragement and why is it important to actually keep that habit going. And then I will just carry on and do it. That's how I was able to actually create those habits. And what Amanda was saying is completely, habits cannot be created overnight. And sometimes you will struggle because we are human. Like Grant was saying, silence time is very, very important. Sometimes you just have to stop and just be in that silent moment. But do we do that? Some people don't have that time. They'll tell you that I actually don't have 1 minute. I've got children. But for me now, my children are older. I always say I cannot make excuses, because they go to their room sometimes and they play. And when they play, sometimes I have to check if they are okay. So I can't make those excuses as well and say, I've got kids, so I can't do things. You can, even exercises, you can do them at home. Don't have to go out. You can play music on TV and just dance and do exercises. By some people, they say it's a struggle. So Amanda, if somebody is struggling, what advice can you give them?
Well, even in the book, it talks about, like what you guys have already mentioned, how changing our habits is really hard. And essentially that, like, if you go to the gym at the beginning of January, all these people are there and it's super busy. And then even by the end of the month, that has died off. And even like this week, my daughter and I went to the gym, I think on Sunday, and she's like, Mom, there's no people here. And I'm like, well, it's just a hot day. Like, there's not a lot of people that are going to be coming to the gym on like a beautiful day, but we're just going to do a quick little workout and go. And my goal to get to the actual gym is like 3 times a week. So if we go 3 times a week, I'm happy, right? And I still do other exercises outside of going to the actual gym, but to get to the gym my goal is 3 times a week. But it says that if you're not armed with a proven strategy to stick with your new habit, the majority of people continue to fail. And so, Nonza, you touched a little bit on one of the things that people can do if they are struggling with sticking to their habit, which is having an accountability partner. Another thing is to write things down, which you also talked about as well. And so those are 2 of the ways that you can ensure, because if you have somebody that you're even going to meet at the gym, you're more likely to go. If you write something down, I forget what the percentage is, but it's a much higher percentage that you're likely to do it if you actually write it down. And so I know for me, my goal as and Grant was saying too, that sometimes people say they don't have enough time. Well, the good thing about this is that you can even do the 6 saviors that he talks about in just 6 minutes if you really are stretched for time that day. And so that's one of the reasons why I've been able to do the 30-day challenges, because I've been like, okay, no matter what, I have to do these before 8 a.m. Even if I like just have a few minutes, and like days when I speak here, because it's 6 a.m. here, it's harder for me to do them in the morning before 8 a.m. when I have to get ready and everything else. But I can still do 6 minutes. I have 6 minutes. Everyone has 6 minutes. How much time do you spend mindlessly scrolling Instagram? You have 6 minutes. And so that's one of the things. And 2 is to start to be conscious of it. Be conscious of the time that you're spending on TikTok or on Instagram or Facebook, because that's time that you could consciously be spending in silence, or consciously be doing the affirmations in your head, or you could consciously be visualizing what it is that you want for your future. One of the things that I think was kind of missing from this book was healthy eating, and they touched on it a little bit, but they didn't make it one of their focuses. And I think that is also something that needs to be brought in to your daily habits is, did you make healthy, conscious food choices 90% of the time? I don't think you have to do it all of the time, because we're human and it's good to have treats every once in a while. And then also like breathing techniques. And so really teaching ourselves how to breathe, because in the book, Think Like a Monk, Jay Shetty says that the very first thing that monks on the ashram learn how to do is breathe. They don't do the ABCs. They learn how to control their breath. And that really helps them throughout life, because breath is the one thing that we have with us our entire lives. And so in Western society, we don't often think about our breath. And so I think if we learned habits to control our breath from a really young age, that we might actually have calmer, healthier, more productive people, because we will have learned that habit of controlling our breath and learning to be mindful. And there's a whole bunch of research out there as well on how breath work actually helps, even more than pharmaceuticals, to reduce anxiety and depression and a number of different medical issues that people have. And so something that maybe if kids at a young age started to learn, we wouldn't see the problems that we have are seeing right now.
Breath work, amazing how important it is. And it's so true. When you think of it in terms of what you said there, Amanda, that in West we don't really think about it much, but it's such a fundamental. And yeah, certainly with stress, it can help, in a very simple way, learning how to control your breathing. We know there's various people out there, Wim Hof, and the list goes on of great breathing techniques. You can go deep dive into it for a long way, or you can just keep it simple. But certainly breath work, breathing is obviously very, very important. And I think it's a great thing to do. And as I say, I combine it with silence. It's my way of keeping my mind silent, just by breathing, focusing on that. And it's not silent, but it's pretty damn quiet. And I think that's heading in the right direction. It's a good thing to do. I like it very much. Did we want to move on to the second part, to affirmations? Yeah. All right. Let's move on. So affirmations really, really important. So number 2 would be affirmations, and I love what Amanda said is you can do this in 6 minutes, and yeah, you can. You can spend a minute on each, and it will show you what you can achieve in just 6 minutes. It's a beautiful thing, and again, it's liberating, because it's empowering, because it starts to give you back control over areas of your life where you feel maybe you haven't had that for a while. So affirmations to affirm things that are going on, things that you want. Now, there's a couple of rules around affirmations, and that's basically to state them in the positive. Always remember, it's not like I'm going to lose weight. No, No, state it as though you already have it. I am slim. I mean, losing weight may not be a thing. It may be about health. You know, why are you losing weight? Is it because you want to look good? Is it for health that you need to lose weight for cardiovascular reason? I don't know. But think about what it is you want, the end goal, and affirm it in that way. So when you listen to your language that you use in your everyday life. You know, are you saying, oh, I'm terrible at things like, don't say that. Don't say that. Say, I always improve the way I speak, or I always improve my levels of patience. I know you may not be perfect right now. I get it. None of us are, right? But it's about improving, moving the needle. So state it in the positive, not what you don't want. State what you do want. State in fact that you are moving towards that goal. Okay. I always find great opportunities. Yeah. Well, you will do if you put that in your brain that you're looking for it. Guess what? Your reticular activating system will deliver things like that. So start to be looking out, not for what you don't want. Look out for the things that you do want. And the things you don't want will tend to fade away because you're more focused on finding the people, the situations, the attitudes that you do want. Focus on what you want. It's amazingly simple and it works very, very well. Okay, so affirm. Now, it might be that I look forward to my day. I look forward to the challenges ahead of me. I'm enjoying walking to the train station today. I will look for great opportunities. I will enjoy working with my work colleagues, etc., etc. I will improve what I do in each and every way. We will improve it if you focus on it. Okay, so if you think I'm going to write email a little bit faster than I normally do, well, if you focus on that, I'm pretty damn sure you're going to get better. Will you be brilliant in a day? No. Will it improve? Yes. If you do that every day, incremental steps, after a couple of weeks, you'll notice you're infinitely better than you were before. If you start to map that over to the areas in your life where you need it most, you'll start to see the needle move. And it's important. As always, how's the best way to do it? You said it, Nomsa, have a mentor, have an accountability partner, have a coach. Of course, that gets you there quicker. Of course it does. Otherwise, these people, these professions wouldn't exist otherwise, right? Of course it does. This is why professionals do it all the time, because they want to get more results, bigger results, faster, easier. But if you can't, just do it yourself. Affirmations, affirm what it is you want. So if you're sitting at home now, not if you're driving. If you're driving, you may want to put it in your head. But if you're working, if you're doing something else, you're in between your tasks, just write down, use the recorder on your phone. What could be an affirmation or affirmations that you could do every day, even if you've only got a minute? Nick, affirmations, something you've ever done, something you prescribe to, something you like? What's your experience?
Yeah, it's another habit I'm working on building. And so I build it into the end of my meditation. And this is something that one of my friends and mentors suggested. And it was a 20-minute meditation. And a portion of that was this visualization technique that he described. And I really like it. So I'll tell you guys. So what I do is I picture all these different conveyor belts kind of all coming in towards me. So in a 360-degree radius around myself. And I picture all of the positive things and different people coming into my life just on these conveyor belts that I'm seeking out. So for me, it's like the perfect customer is effortlessly attracted to my brand and has no qualms about spending my asking price, or this perfect business partner or situation is just flowing into me effortlessly without me having to work for it or to really struggle or anything like that. So I just picture all of those things and situations and people coming into my consciousness basically and into my sphere. And I find that, and all on the positive side again, and Grant, yeah, you nailed it, is to make sure that it is a positive thing and to really realize that your language and the words you use is super powerful. And so be mindful of that, and give yourself grace and love. And yeah, don't shit talk yourself, because that's counterproductive for sure. So yeah, affirmations are definitely something that I am working with and working on all the time. And I think there's huge power in that. And I do a self-love affirmation thing that actually I used to do it more as a habit, and it's kind of fallen away now that I think about it. And it's I just look in the mirror and I tell myself that that I love myself, that I'm proud of myself, and I say to myself, you can do and be anything you want. And then remind myself that I'm proud of myself for all the steps and things that I'm doing in my life. And then I thank myself in the mirror. So those are kind of the affirmations that I am using currently. And it seems really powerful for sure. And finding those positive I am statements, like speak it into existence. So even if you're not quite there, you still say it in a way where it's I am whatever it is, in a positive way. So that's what I'm doing, and that's definitely something that I find value in. So I'm going to keep doing it.
I love that, Nick. I was watching one of a YouTube video yesterday. The guy actually does exactly what you do, and like if you want to bring in the results that you want, he was talking about manifestation, but he's describing exactly what you are describing, like what you do, which is a good habit to do. Like it's a very, very positive habit if you want the positive in your life. Me, I don't do affirmation. I used to do them, but when I look at myself in the mirror, I could not connect with myself. I was like, what the heck am I doing? Loving myself and things like that. So I don't do that anymore. I stopped it because I realized that there's more to it. I needed to, what I did first was to write it down, what was in my heart, like what I wished, like what Nick is describing. I will just write it down, and I find that when I speak in front of the mirror, I will actually be like, what the heck am I doing? It wouldn't connect with my inner being, because I needed to connect with my inner being. So what I did was actually to write it down. When I write it down, I feel connected to it, but everyone is different. Some people, it works when they go into the shower, they use their affirmation, they say them out loud in the shower. Some, they go in front of the mirror, but for me, it didn't work. I just had to actually write it down. But now I'm on the level where I just fast. If I need to connect with my inner being, or if I'm actually doing something, wanting to create something, or like what Nick is saying, if I need to call my helpers or I need anything to happen, I just have to connect with my inner being just by fasting and just praying. I have specific prayers that I say every single day. I'm no longer creating habits on my own. Like I was having problems. There was so much delay in every corner in my life. So I was like, this is what I need to do. So I studied the prayer out loud. And when I say it, when I do it, it's like what Nick is saying. He can agree with me that when he is actually creating this habit affirmation, there can't be negativity in it. You just have to have a clear mind and focus on it straight out. Just focus on that. Your mind has to focus on that. You have to have the awareness as well, and just erase any negative that is trying to interfere with whatever you're saying, because you need the connection within yourself, your words has to connect with your inner being. So I watched the video and the guy was saying it exactly, and he is actually charging. I looked at it, clicked the link, he is actually charging $2,000 or $6,000 to actually teach people how to actually connect with their inner being and create a habit or say affirmation that works. He says he did it himself and he won the lottery just by doing the manifestation, but through the connection, saying words like one you could say out loud every single day. So I agree with you. And Amanda as well, you touched about the importance of eating habit as well, creating eating health. I think that is really, really important, that when we are creating habit, we have to create the habit of eating good health as well. That is very, very, very important. I watched the video of a man, I think he's 114. Honestly, this man on YouTube, he looks so good. And he was like, the food that he eats, he creates a good habit and he doesn't worry about things that he doesn't have control over. And he eats health. And some of the food that he eats garlic. He eats olive oil is something with olive oil, honey, raw chocolate. So he has this list of the things that he eats, and so beautiful. He looks so good for 114 men. So I think that's really, really important, to create habits that can take your life and have and create a routine as well, and setting goals as well. And starting small as well is very, very important. Some people, they want to start big, but start small and track your progress. Tracking your progress, it means you just have to, if you have an accountability partner, they help you to find out where you are and to support you as well. Grant, I don't know if it was Grant or Amanda who mentioned that have a strategy to overcome obstacles as well. And be kind to yourself is very, very important when we are creating this habit, not to put pressure on yourself, because if you are creating something for a long term, it means that the day you don't feel like doing it, don't blame yourself or say, why can't I just do it while other people can just do it? Just be kind. If you're having a bad day, take a phone and call your accountability partner if you have one. Explain how you're feeling. When you're feeling so, write them down as well. It's very, very important. Nick says them out loud, or you can say them out loud, or you can write them down and be aware of what is going on. And the other thing as well for me that helped me a lot is being aware of my emotions, how I'm responding to my habit, tracking my progress. If I show you my language, the things that I will be writing, I'll be like, I can't even recognize it because it doesn't look like me. But now I can see why it's important. So just do that. My work, or if it doesn't work, that create a framework of good habits that can take you to where you need to be. And your values and your beliefs are important as well. Over to you, Amanda.
Yeah, the affirmations one is an interesting one because it's all about setting it in the intention of right now, but also in what it is that you want to achieve. And I struggled with that one for a long time around, like, I read a number of books where it was like, I'm wealthy, wealth is flowing to me easily and abundantly from all of these areas. And it almost felt fake. And it didn't really like sit with me very well. And so what I like in Hal's book is that it talks about, I'm committed to. So I'm committed to bringing wealth into my life. I'm committed to attracting abundance by doing this and this and this. And so the committed to part sits a lot better with me than this fake one where it's like, all of this is flowing to me so easily without me doing anything. And people, that's one of the criticisms of The Secret is that people think that if I just sit and visualize at home, then all of these great things are going to come to me. But it's like, no, there's actually, like, you have to become the person that you want to be in order to become that person. And so if you want to have all of this abundance and wealth and attract abundance in all areas of your life, then you have to embody the type of person that is going to do that. And so that's what I really like about this book, is that there's no fakeness to it. There's no fake, like, I'm magically bringing this all in with zero effort to myself. It's actually a lot of effort, but the effort that's worth it and that's meaningful and that sits with my soul. And so I think that's part of it too, is that when you start something new, if it's a new habit, it has to really sit with who you are, who you truly want to become, more than you want to be the person that you already were. And I think in the movie, because I even watched the movie for this book, and it talks about how he was in this depressive space, and he called his one friend who was very successful, and his friend, like, he was expecting this business advice from him, and his friend said, go for a run in the morning, set your alarm and go for a run. And he was like, but I hate running. And his very successful business partner's response was, what do you hate more, the position that you're in right now or running? And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. And so on his run was where he got the idea to research all of the things that the most successful people in the world do. And then that's essentially what changed his life, not from business advice that his friend, who is a very successful businessman, did, but by going for a run and allowing ideas to come and flow to him easily, by becoming that best person. And from being someone who essentially almost died in a car crash and has a hole in his leg to hold his femur together, he was able to start running that day and then eventually run it like ultra marathon, which is absolutely fascinating and just like so empowering. And I think when you see people who've really overcome struggle, you're like, oh, my struggles aren't that bad. If this guy can get up and do these things and be this positive, then I really have no excuses for not being positive, right? And not working towards my goals. And so I think sometimes when we get stuck, we're stuck in our own head and with our own crap. And so in order to get out of that, we really need to become conscious of our habits. So whether it's, I'm not spending any time in silence, I'm not doing any affirmations, I'm not visualizing, I'm not exercising, I'm not reading, I'm not scribing. What habit is it that you're missing? And like I said in this book, the one thing that I think is missing is, or the two things, is the breath work and the eating healthy and drinking enough water. So are you conscious of what your habits are that are holding you back from what you want to achieve? And I think that's some question that all of us need to ask ourselves is, are you conscious of those things that you do each and every day that are holding you back? And if you're not conscious of it, start to become aware of what it is that you're doing every single day. And are you becoming the best version of yourself each and every day? So are you committed to becoming the best version of yourself each and every day? And if you ask yourself the question, what would the best version of myself do today? And then go and do it.
Best version. I like it. Best version of yourself, as opposed to a version of yourself. It's about that constantly improving. Now I get it. Some people say, what's fine? I don't care. I'm happy as I am. If you are, great, fantastic. But some of you aren't, and you want to constantly improve. You want to just go for that. So one of the best things to do, and one of the best things by far, is number 3, and that is visualization. Visualization is incredibly powerful. No, you can't just visualize something on its own. No, you can't just do affirmations on its own and it turns up. That Ferrari, that person of your dreams doesn't turn up on the door. You do actually have to go and do something. But these things are the Kickstarter that get it moving. After all, how can you achieve anything if you don't at least first visualize what it is you want? You sport fans out there who remember David Beckham, the great soccer player, we call it football in England, the great soccer player, the great football player who could bend the ball when he kicks it like no one else, bend it like Beckham. Yeah. Did he just do it? Nope. Did he visualize it? You bet. Many, many, many times. Bend it. You must first visualize it. What sports people, where do they go before they take that key shot? They go somewhere in their mind. They're tapping into that visualization that they've done 10,000 times before. Seeing them not struggling, but seeing themselves achieving it. As you know, I'm a hypnotherapist. Visualization is something which we tap into in great detail with people to really go into that from all different techniques I use to get people to visualize it. Vision boards are incredibly powerful. Well, you know what? I have a vision board, and you know where it is? There, in my mind. I have a vision board upstairs in that place where I have it, but this place comes with me everywhere. So I have it here. The vision board of what I want to achieve. In fact, I have many visions of what I do. There's a thing I call the image cycling. Cycling around many times. It's a process I use to kind of manifest things. And it does work. We do it in groups, and I train people to do this, etc., etc. It's funky. It's way out there. I don't talk about it much. It's not key to what I'm known for. It's an element of achieving what I get people to achieve. Visualization is very important. Know what you want. Visualize it in great detail as if you already have it. As though it's no real big deal. You just have it. Like the things you do have in your life and you don't take much attention to, you just have it. I've recently been helping run a course in a castle, a very, very modern home, luxurious home, owned by a very wealthy person for millions of dollars. I've been there. Interesting. What did I learn? You went there, if I'm really honest, first few minutes, I was a bit, wow, fantastic. Feel a bit out of my depth? Yeah, you know what? I actually did for a few minutes. But I mean, a few minutes. After a while, I thought, wow, this is really nice. Good. After a couple of days, if you gave me the keys and said that's your place to live, I thought, yeah, cool, great. Because after a while, what was I doing? I was wandering around at night in the kitchen, making a cup of tea, had a snack, just the same as I do anywhere. It just become the place where you rest your head. You've got a shower, you've got a sofa, there's TVs everywhere. I live the same way there as I do anywhere, because the denominating factor is yourself, not surrounded. You get used to it. Have I ever visualized being in a place like that? Yeah. Not usual to go to places like that, but somehow it happened. And I visualized, not that that was my main goal, that was a passing goal toward the thing. And actually what I was doing there was way more important than the place itself. It was a nice bonus, a nice add-on. But you know what? It became normal. It became my environment. So why don't you change your environment in your mind? Why don't you visualize the environment you want, the things you want in great detail? Because going there in your mind is like laying the foundation for getting it. So that when you get there, it's kind of normal because you've been there many times before in your mind. Your mind finds it hard to differentiate truth from visualization. So bridge that gap, make it easier to make that transition, visualize, because you cannot achieve something first unless you first visualize it. Why is visualization important and more important than verbalizing it in mind? Why? Because it's an older part of the brain. Long before we could speak, we have sight. So you're going deeper into the brain, into an older part of the brain, deeper into our psyche. So it works very, very powerfully. Affirmations are either like starter on your car. This is the way I explain it. But it's not the engine itself. The visualization is more of the engine. It's a deeper route. It's deeper into the hard drive of your system. Let's put it that way. Okay, so visualize what you want. Don't try and work out how you get that thing. Don't, life will take care of how you get it. Just what you want. Visualize as though you have it. You start to breathe in the way that you would if you had it. You start to walk, stand, behave in a way. People can't tell the difference. When you see someone, you see someone's got something, and I can't quite work out what it is, but that person got something about them. It's because it's there in a, maybe they have got it. But if you haven't got it, I'm not talking about faking it. I'm talking about visualizing it. When you visualize it, every pore of your body gives off signals that you're that kind of person who deserves it. And people give opportunities to people who deserve it. So if you want to be placing yourself in the right advantageous position, if you want to put yourself in the right environment where it's a good fit, visualize it first. That's what I want to say. Nick, visualization, where do you stand on these things? What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. I love everything you just said. I certainly couldn't have said it any better, for sure. So I'll just add just a couple things. So I'll just tell a story. So last night we were out after supper playing baseball with the family. So three little guys under 10, and my wife and my father-in-law, and we were out there, and my little guy, so he's 4, and I don't know exactly where he picked this up as a habit, but he does a visualization before he'll do something hard or something he hasn't done before. So he's standing there with the bat in his hand. He closes his eyes, and you see him take a deep breath. And then he goes to it. So he's picturing himself like swinging the bat and hitting the ball perfectly. And then what happened? Exactly that. He hit the ball like amazingly, and it was really cool to see him just take that moment and that breath to visualize himself doing whatever it was before he did it, and then for it to work out. It's a powerful thing for a 4-year-old or for a 40-year-old, right? And that's something that we don't do all the time, and how important it is, and how much value it can have for us. And then I'll just mention another thing where I do the opposite, and it works out terribly every time. And so it's like, it's encouraging to do it right. So I'm a very amateur golfer, and my problems are all up here. And so when I'm standing above the ball, I'm thinking about the exact shot I want to have and where I want the ball to go and all that. But then in my backswing, I like flip it, and then I think about all the terrible things that could happen, and the ball going in the water, or duffing it, or hitting it thin, or whatever it is. And then what happens? The bad thing, the thing that I just pictured happening or visualized happening. And so it's, for me, I have this terrible habit of thinking about the worst thing in that backswing. And so that's definitely the work for me with that sport anyways, is to get back to positive visualization, because you can, either way you can make it happen, right? Either on the positive side or the negative side. And so I don't know why I keep going to the negative side. It's just really silly, but it's a bad habit. So I'm working on that one. Nomsa?
Working on that one, Nick. Trust me, you get there. The first thing, when you recognize it, that means you are there to the positive one. So that's the good thing. For me, I think about the ending in my mind. What do I need to achieve? And I connect everything to my heart. And like Nick, what is saying, when he's saying the negativity, it comes in, that means that you are aware anyway, Nick. When you are aware of the negative coming in, you can erase it. So I think about the positivity that I want. I don't visualize. I used to visualize things. I don't anymore. So I think about the ending in mind, what I really, really want to achieve. And then that's when I go to a dry fast. If it's something really I need to connect with, I go to a dry fast, and I have specific my prayers that I have gave the audience that I need. By when I say out loud those prayers, if there is something that is gonna stand in my way, it gets revealed, it actually manifests. Let's say if I'm doing something and there will be a negative thing, or if it's going to be big and affect my moving forward, so you manifest it, then I have to deal with it straight away. But it's very, very important to actually use whatever works for you. I used to use my affirmation, but it didn't work. And I just, like Amanda was saying, I would just look in front of the mirror. I would just laugh at myself, and I'll be like, what the heck am I doing? So it didn't work. But the visualization, it works if I want to go on stage. In that part, it works. But like on the pitch, for me, there was no negotiations. If I go on the pitch, I need to win. I need my team to win. And that means that I don't visualize. I know that I need to score, or I need to block somebody, because I played the left back defense. So I'll be like, I need to block somebody. Nobody goes in front of me if I'm at the back. So that's what I needed to do. Like, I'll just work hard, and I never got a red card. I nearly got a red card, but I never got a red card anyway. But I would just stay there. If I'm playing football, you're not going with it. If you're playing opposite me, if you've got the ball, you can't go at the front. The ball, my team has to take it, because I just block. That's the mindset that I had. That if I'm playing against you, you're my enemy, and we're not friends. We become friends when we finish. That's when we can hug and kiss up. But before that, when we are there, we're not friends. So that's where it's like my team are my team. So I need to win. Sometimes if I lose, and then I will just have to evaluate what did we do wrong, and then it just correct the mistakes that it maybe would be. In that day, we were not connected, because the players have to connect with each other. If there is no connection, or somebody makes a mistake, somebody start blaming your own team, then there's no way that you're going to win. So then it will just bring the unity together. So it's very, very, very important. If you are doing something like what Nick was saying, be aware of the negative that are coming in, and don't make it wrong. Carol Ann always say, never make anything wrong, and just work on the positivity. It takes time. Like when I'm saying now that I find it very easy with my habit, because I found this, I had accountability partners, but now I just go for what needs to, I just do what needs to be done, by looking at the ending in mind. Like Nick, what you were saying is the same thing that I was telling you, like when we are thinking about the price. Even my pastor mentioned that. He said, you will be surprised when you believe in the positivity. Like, let's say if you are charging clients, you will be surprised at the price that you set. Clients can come and just offer you a higher price, to say, okay, I need you to coach me, but if you are charging this money, make sure you are available to charge me for this money. So you just have to be positive, not positive like it goes deep. If you meditate, if you believe in meditation, if you are a Christian, meditate in the word of God. If you are not a Christian, find ways that can help you to actually connect with your winning spirit, because that's what you need. That's all I can say for now. And Amanda, words of encouragement before we leave?
Yeah, whatever your habits are, start to become aware of them, and then which ones are you going to change? Because some of the habits you already have will be positive. And then how are you going to make a plan to ensure that you're not that 95% of people who are just going to give up on their new goals and actually follow through and commit to them past 30 days? Because like Nick and I both said, that we've done these 30-day challenges, and then it doesn't necessarily change us forever, that we still have to stay committed to that. So that's my suggestions for you, is to really become conscious of what your patterns are, sort them out, and then make a plan going forward.
Have the audience of who you are as well, Amanda.
Oh, my name's Amanda Cottrell, and you can find me on all platforms as Art, Mindfulness, and Creativity. And if you go to my website, there is a free gift called The Mindful Art of Creativity to empower people to spark their creativity within themselves.
Brilliant. Okay, words of encouragement. I want to say there's many ways to change habits, and it can be like a sliding scale. You can do it intensely and quickly, or gradually and over a long period of time. There are optimal times. I could tell you much more about that. If you want to know, you can change habits in 12 days. It can take over 61 days. It does take a little bit of input, because after all, you've got an ingrained habit. You're trying to change that groove, but it can be done. So take heart, my friends. If you've got a habit you don't want, we can help you change that, and change it for good, so you can redesign your life. I'm Grant Morrell, an international speaker, coach, trainer, and an international best-selling author. And yeah, over the last 20 years, almost 21 years, 20 years now, myself and an international team have helped thousands of entrepreneurs, business owners, individuals, and organizations across 15 plus countries, helping to increase their profits by up to 200%, often in a few short months. How? By working with a team, because everybody does have a team, or associated people you work with a team, systems of their mindset, which yes, involves your habits, and a strategy, so that you can live a life of passion, purpose, and freedom, and develop a business, career, or a lifestyle that can become a legacy for generations to come. If you or know someone who would like to know more about that, please contact me, grant.morrell at Instagram, or in fact, you can find me on most social media platforms, and I'd love to help you achieve what you want to do. That's me. Let me help you change your habits. Nick, over to you, my friend.
So everyone's kind of covered everything so beautifully. So thank you, everyone. I just thought I read a quote this morning, and just thought I'd close with that. So it's by Stephen Covey. So he's the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People guy. And the quote was talking about habits. So it's sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. So kind of sums up those stages, I thought, really eloquently. So I'll leave it at that. So my name Nick, and my website is up on the screen. So flowstatedesigns.ca. We make consciously made in Canada clothing with hemp and organic cotton, and it's just better, just better than what's out there in the fast fashion model. And so going the complete opposite direction of that, and kind of the mindset is have less but better, and then less waste, and it's just good for everyone. So that's who I am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nick and Amanda and Grant. And for me, I will say, just when you're creating your habit, be patient and perseverance. It requires patience, perseverance, and consistency, what Amanda said. And just create a framework that works for you, because we are all different, we are all unique, and that works. That's what makes us stand out. And if you want to connect with Amanda, Grant, or Nick, or you want to connect with me, you can connect with us. These guys have said for social media and their website. And for me, my website is I think will be ready tomorrow. So yeah, and try to, if you want to get in touch with me, I would just say use my phone number, because I think my office number is on social media as well, on my business page, because my email, I seems to be getting hacked every single day now. So it's only today where I've not checked my email, so I might have been hacked. I've been getting hacked since last week. So I don't know what is going on. The person keeps going in. So no idea what is going on. So live with grace, everyone, and God bless. We are here Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time.